Guys, I'm going to tell you, trigger warning. This interview that we're about to watch with Joy Reid and Angela Yee, it really, really, really is pissing me off, okay? And I might go off in this video. I might go off because I am getting so tired of these Democratic NPCs, because that's what they are at this point. They are NPCs because all they know is hate Trump, hate people on the right, white supremacy, and that Black Lives Matter was the most peaceful movement of all time. Okay, they don't want to acknowledge that their ish stinks, and it's really cutting out a nerve here. Okay, because again, it's coming off of, this Capitol event, riot, protest, whatever you want to call it, in which I 100% completely denounce, because I denounce violence on both sides. I'm principled enough to sit here and to say it with a straight face that, you know what, both sides are wrong, right, on this. But these people on the left that cannot acknowledge that BLM led to violence, destruction, and a loss of lives really just angers me. Okay, because honestly, quite honestly, a lot of people want to talk about conservatives being out of touch reality. These people are actually out of touch reality, right? If conservatives are out of touch reality, these people are out of touch reality as well. So just some context here. They're going to talk about the Senate impeachment trial in terms of what one of the defenses will be, which is that, hey, what happened for the last 12 months, 13 months was violence as well. The Democrats never denounced it. Matter of fact, they egged it on, which is 100% fair and 100% right. Anybody with a brain can understand that. Okay, but apparently these people right here, they're going to continue to try to dismiss the conflict and violence that was caused by Black Lives Matter and other groups on the left. And again, guys, I might go off. So let's go ahead and take a listen to this.
Basically, what they're going to do is they're going to try to say that Black Lives Matter rallies, where at some point at night somebody, threw a Molotov cocktail at a police car, is exactly the same thing. And now I know
because it is. It is. Okay, it's not. See what she's doing here. She's trying to just belittle the BLM movement as to, that was some random acts of violence here and there. But that doesn't equate to what happened at the Capitol. Listen, guys, again, I got to keep saying this because I don't want anybody that's watching this video to get it confused in terms of what I'm saying here. I denounce violence on both sides. I am for peaceful measures, okay? I'm 100% for peace. Now, what happened with the Capitol? The reason why this is being so played up is because of the fact that, okay, it was seen as an attempt to overthrow democracy. It was seen as an attempt to interrupt a democratic process. And that's 100% a fair criticism, okay? But if you take that away from it, it is nothing compared to what we've seen from Black Lives Matter, okay? And that's what really bothers me about this whole thing, is that people like Joy Reid go on TV and get paid millions of dollars to lie to her constituents and to belittle and to play down a movement that cost people's lives. And then to try to sit here like she's on a moral high horse and that she knows it all and that she's right and everybody that disagrees with her is crazy. When we all sat there and saw it, we all witnessed what happened. Most people don't agree with the violence that came from the BLM protests. If you was a responsible person, you would call it straight and you would call it for what it was. And it was more than just a random Molotov cocktail being thrown at a police car. Police officers were killed. People were killed. Civilians was killed. Black neighborhoods were destroyed. Black businesses were destroyed. There's videos of people crying because they lost their businesses, because their stores got looted. And see, she's 100% culpable for that. Because she sits on TV with a straight face and doesn't call it what it is. And that's what really makes me mad. They keep doing this and I don't understand why. Why can't you just be principled? If you're above it all, if you're morally above it all, then be above it all. Okay? And at least that way I'll have some respect. We could disagree on the politics. We can disagree on the policies, but I'll respect you because at least I know that you're coming at this from a principled standpoint.
My team here, can you guys get me the video of Black Lives Matter storming capitals? Just get me the video right now. Black Lives Matter storming capitals. And I'm sorry.
And they're laughing. They're laughing like there's not video that exists of Black Lives Matter destroying DC. Right? You want to talk about them destroying the Capitol? They destroyed every part except the Capitol. Okay? There's video of them destroying DC. There's video of them destroying multiple cities across the country. But she's acting like that don't exist. They're laughing as if there's no footage of any violence that's being done by Black Lives Matter. As if the whole movement is one of the slogans of the movement is no justice, no peace. What do you think that means? Again, this is what blows my mind. These people are living in their own reality.
All right, that doesn't exist. There isn't any of that. So, your thoughts, Angie?
Yeah, we're laughing to keep from crying, right, Joy? This is one of those things where, from the very beginning, from its inception, when people began to say Black Lives Matter and it was an argument, right? Like, this was a point that had to be proven. The fact that Black Lives Matter, by its mere existence, and by the fact that people would have the nerve to go and protest the right to breathe, is in and of itself violence, is the exact problem, right?
Bruh, it's not. Oh my God. Oh my God, man. The protests were violent. Okay? Just call it what it is. If you come up here and you just say, listen, there were definitely some violent aspects of Black Lives Matter, right? But I want people to understand it's overall, most people want a peaceful movement. We denounce all the violence that's associated with it. Matter of fact, we don't want anybody that wants violence a part of our movement. That's a reasonable statement. Okay? These people can't even make a reasonable, balanced statement that tells the truth. Instead, Angela Rye is just acting like the whole thing was peaceful. I don't know why people would think BLM is violent, right? Let's not pay attention to the billions of dollars in property damage that happened. Let's not pay attention to all the small businesses that were lost, the lives that were lost, the cities that was burned. Let's not pay attention to any of that. These people that believe BLM are violent, they just are racist. They don't like black lives. That's the point. It's all about their hate of black people. It's not about the reality of what the movement was doing on the ground. That's literally how these people think. And it really pisses me off, guys. It really does. And another thing that gets me too is this idea that these people perpetuate, which is that, well, we were fighting for our lives. We couldn't breathe. We're fighting for the right to breathe. And I'm sitting here like, bruh, I'm black. I'm black as it can be. And I'm breathing. Soaking up the air. Breathing, right? The white man ain't stepping on my neck. Okay? And they think that, because they're talking about they're fighting for their lives, that it makes their protest more legitimate. It makes the acts of violence in their movement more legitimate. And I'm like, no, it don't. No, it don't. It don't make your stuff more legitimate because what you're saying objectively is just not true. Right? You know what's a bigger issue? If you want to talk about black lives, let's talk about abortion. Right? You want to have a conversation about black lives. Let's talk about what? The 15 plus million black lives that didn't even have a chance to happen from abortion since Roe v. Wade. It's 15 million plus. Ain't the exact statistics, but it's up there. Okay? I'm not trying to completely dismiss the concerns of people who are concerned about police brutality. Right? I'm not. Okay? Is police brutality an issue in the black community? Yes, obviously. Okay? But it's not even a top 5 issue. It's not even a top 10 issue in my opinion. And I also think it's an issue that can be solved if y'all put a lot of this energy that y'all put into the whole police brutality thing into something like, I don't know, fight the drug war, legalize marijuana, making it so police don't have to interact with black people in the first place, right? Or giving them less reasons to interact with black people. Therefore, there's less chance of somebody getting their ass whooped, right? This stuff is not hard, okay? And see, but this is a leadership issue. Right? The leadership is focused on a symptom of a bigger problem, not the problem itself. Okay?
Blunt should be ashamed of himself. He should know better. What it's looking like is that the only way that Donald Trump could have potentially been impeached is if one of their colleagues would have lost their lives. Because it's not worthy of an impeachment because a police officer or a participant in the insurrection passed away. When Donald Trump stood on the campaign trail and said that he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and it would have no effect, I know I'm paraphrasing here, but that's essentially what he said. It's looking like that was right. And I just would challenge the United States Senate in a bipartisan way, because this is really about morality at this point, to search deep in your hearts and look.
No, it's not about morality. It's not about morality. Don't sit here and try to talk to me about being moral when you can't even acknowledge the shit on your side that stinks. Because I mean that is a legitimate argument to be made. The argument that they're making is that, listen, Maxine Waters, AOC, a ton of Democrats have said the same things that Trump has went out here and said, or similar things that, again, demonstrably probably have contributed to a lot of people going out there and protesting in the streets and rioting in the streets. That has led to a loss of lives. However, none of those people are receiving punishments, right? Because, again, you got to understand precedence in politics. Precedence matters. If they successfully convict Trump because of some things that he said that they say caused that riot at the Capitol, then we have to look back at every single thing that the Democrats said in all the riots that happened for the last 12 months. And that's why I say these people don't understand what they're getting into with this. Because what's going to happen is that if they do impeach Trump, which looks to be more unlikely as the day goes, if they do successfully impeach him, if they do successfully convict him, what's going to happen is that when the Republicans get power, and they better hope, they better hope, okay? They better hope that no left-wingers pop off or the Black Lives Matter group doesn't pop off. They better hope. They better hope. Because what's going to happen is that eventually these BLM protests, they're going to come back. Eventually, this stuff is going to rise back up again, probably around election season. And now everybody's going to be looking at you guys and saying, okay, do you denounce this? Okay, or even worse, if the Republicans happen to take power and Biden doesn't denounce it, and they happen to win the House and the Senate in 2022, then what's stopping them from impeaching Biden? Say, listen, Biden, you didn't denounce these Black Lives Matter protests that happened under your watch. You didn't denounce it. You didn't stop it. Matter of fact, you encouraged it, because he's going to be in a position where he can't denounce it. Politically, he won't be able to, because he spent all this time defending it. Okay, you got to be impeached. You got to be impeached because the Democrats convicted our guy for inciting violence, right? And so we got to now impeach and convict you for doing the same thing because you didn't stop it. And because silence is violence, according to you guys, you contributed to it because you didn't denounce it. So therefore, you need to be impeached. And if they convict Trump, they would have a perfect argument for it. It will be a argument that has some legal precedence because they successfully did it with Trump, right? I mean, that's just not something with Biden that can happen down the road, period. Okay? So again, y'all want to play this game. The pendulum always swings the other way. Always swings the other way in politics. And see, these people that are blind to their own shit, that are blind to what goes on in their own movement, that keep defending this, right? Turning a blind eye, acting like they ain't never seen any violence come from BLM. These people are going to be the ones that are going to be very, very sorry when it turns back around on them. Okay? Because the Democrats got demons too. Just like the conservatives got demons, Democrats got demons too. And the Democrats are going to have to deal with their demons sooner than later.
Look at the facts. BLM is not on trial hearings.
They're not. They're not on trial hearings. But what they're saying is that if what you count Trump doing as inciting a riot, then we have to look back at what happened before. For the last 12 months, we've had riots and protests for literally 12 months straight across the whole country, not in just one place, not one single isolated incident. Okay? I mean, this stuff is not hard.
The president is, and you need to treat him accordingly. There needs to be consequences for his actions, or this is only going to get worse.
No, what's actually going to get worse is when these BLM protests pop off again, and then y'all clowns are going to have to sit here and do mental gymnastics and figure out how you're going to defend it. Like I said, man, it just annoys me that these people are paid to go on national TV. They get big bucks to spew out BS all day and to ignore reality. People want to say conservatives aren't living reality. I'm like, bro, these people are not living in reality. It's two sides of the same coin. Okay? The only way we can ever make progress in this country is that both sides got to acknowledge where they're wrong. Okay? If you're wrong, just say you're wrong. Okay? There's plenty of people on the right that's come out 1,000 times and say, you know what? We were wrong for this. Now, people on the left, they don't want to say they're wrong. But see, the problem is that at some point, that demon is going to have to come to roost because these people on the left are, in fact, getting more extreme. Okay? And when they see that Biden's not doing anything, when they get dissatisfied with the state of progress, right, after all the promises that have been made from the Biden administration, don't be surprised if these protests pop off again. And at that point, when they pop off again, you guys are going to have to carry that water because mainstream public opinion will sway to the right on this. It will. Because you're not going to have Trump to blame anymore. You're not going to have white supremacy to blame anymore. You got Biden in charge. Maybe it's a different type of white supremacy, the liberal white supremacy. But you ain't going to be able to blame conservatives and Trump for it anymore. So if that happens, it's going to be real funny to see the mental gymnastics that these people go through to try to justify it. And if they move forward and convict Trump, which is like they will, but if they happen to do this, again, it's going to set a very, very, very dangerous precedent in politics that can lead to the removal of basically any official, senator, House representative, president, and whose rhetoric could be used to incite violence. So again, be careful what you ask for. The pendulum always swings back the other way. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.